Welcome to Fandom Schmandom, the fandom podcast that covers everything you love and more. I'm Sierra Obermark.
And I'm Sam Williams. Today's episode, we will be annoyingly articulating about Stranger Things, Season 3, Episodes 5 through 7. Without further ado, we will, as Roger Smith says, dive on in. So get up to 88, because it's time to travel back to our story recap. The mall crew, Dustin, Steve, Robin, and Erica, are stuck at the bottom of a very deep elevator shaft. But now they have company, allowing them to escape into a Russian underground base, no less. The same base where the gate opening machine lives. Joyce and Hoop have kidnapped the Russian scientist Alexei and are trying to outrun the muscle Grigori and make it to Illinois to visit Hooper's friend, who turns out to be Murray. Aha, Murray! Nancy and Jonathan have gone to find the kids to make sure Will is safe and figure out how to get the Flayed free of the Mind Flayer's clutches. Too bad if you fight and kill a Flayed. They just turn into a really disgusting gelatinous blob that, when formed together, creates a horrifying monster.
Episode 6. Steve and Robin are caught by the Russians, who torture Steve into finding out who he is working for. Nancy narrowly escapes the goo form of the monster, thanks to Elle. And Billy and Heather say it is time. Time for what? We don't know, because the monsters and Flayed have vanished. And while fighting his friends about Elle searching for them, Mike reveals he loves Elle. Elle dives into the in-between and Billy's memories to locate the source. Hopper, Joyce, and Murray are trying to get answers out of Alexei, who is being purposefully difficult, but eventually explains about how they have opened the gate. They call to tip off Owens and head back to Hawkins. Dustin and Erica to the rescue! They save Steve and Robin, but Elle is in danger. She tries to leave the memories, but gets stuck in the middle with Billy, while the rest of the Flayed leave the fireworks festivities and join the creature. Literally.
Episode 7. But guys, don't worry about everything that has just happened. It's fun, fair time. Well, for some people. But for Elle and company, the shadow monster is on its way, and they must prepare themselves as best they can. Both Elle and the shadow monster are injured in the fight, but the group manages to escape. Max comes in clutch with first aid knowledge, and Lucas gets the idea to help Elle by using fireworks on the shadow monster. Mike uses the downtime to awkwardly stumble around professing his Louvre. Nailed it! Well, it's Mike, so he didn't, but that's fine. The mall crew exit the base, pursued by a bear. Nope, this isn't Shakespeare. Pursued by Russians. It doesn't help anyone that Steve and Robin were drugged out of their minds, but they are trapped in the mall. Joyce and Hoop rush to save their kids, accompanied by Alexei and Murray, who give the non-couple a hilarious talking to. They begin the search at the fair, where the mayor calls in the Russians. Alexei is finally enjoying himself in America's capitalistic movement and looking forward to becoming a capitalistic American when he is killed by a non-capitalistic The Muscle. I know, Sierra, I'm sorry. Cue the Obermark, sad Obermark.
Dun, dun, dun.
Also, cue everyone meeting up in penultimate fashion. The adults here, we have kids. They are stealing them all over the radio, which that's not a Russian accent at all, but thank you for being here and still listening, everyone. The mall crew in question are hiding and saved by the kids.
Sam, find your donut holes. It's time for our Knives Out category, where we sleuth out which 3 storylines are the most vital to pay attention to. Number 1, the gate. Number 2, the scientist. And number 3, the Flayed.
Okay, so this first one, the gate. So, run everyone, Stephen, dear Stephen, and Reuben. dear Robin. They sacrifice their safety to let Dustin and Erica find some help. So Steve is then interrogated. Robin and Steve are then drugged. Dustin and Erica find deadly weapons. One of the best parts, one of the best lines, we'll get there. They distract the guards, they shocked the evil druggy scientist, and then they escape to the movies where they witness Back to the Future. Dustin calls Mike for help because they're all stranded at the mall, and they need a ride to escape the Russians. Drugged out, Steve and Robin escape the movie theater to the bathroom where they vomit, and Steve confesses his love. But Robin doesn't like men, so they are the best of friends, but not lovers. Baby-turned-babysitter Dustin finds them, is super cross that they're having a great time, and then Russians start crawling over them all, and they cannot escape. So, Sierra, what are your feelings about why this is important?
This just really, first of all, keeps them stuck in the mall, which is
key.
The whole crux of, I feel like a theme throughout the different seasons is wherever we end up spending time in the very first episode is often where the big battle will take place. Yeah,
that's definitely
in the
a
last
motif.
Episode.
Certainly.
There's the school, and now here we have the mall. So I think partially it's to set up the location. Also, it's so that we get an insider's look into what this base actually looks like when it is operating, because we're going to need to go back into it. So in order for them to actually make it into the base per Alexi's instructions, we also need to have had eyes in there as well, not just a crudely drawn map. So it's very, very helpful that Dustin and Erica, with their wits about them, have been crawling literally all over this base and therefore know what's going on in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it certainly helps to give more stakes to what the Russians are like as people. Mm-hmm. Like, we're seeing them. It's not just, this is the 1980s, the Cold War is still going on.
Right.
Reagan has not told Gorbachev to tear down the wall yet, so therefore they must be evil. No, we're seeing them be evil in their governmental pursuits, and in two different factions, right? We'll also see it with the Muscle, but also right here, where they're drugging teenagers and don't believe the story of what's happening or any of that nature. So that's important. And then, like you're saying, the fact that we've got two people with their wits about them crawling around who are able to then give instructions to Hopper, Murray, and Joyce when they descend next episode, or not next our episode, but the finale of the show, that's also hugely, hugely important for closing the gate, which is the only thing that will take out this no longer shadow monster, the meat monster.
Gross blob.
Gross
beauty.
Indeed.
Ugh. I think the other reason why this storyline is important as well is because of the levity that it brings with Steve and Robin, both being highly comedic. Their entire being drugged with truth serum or whatever they give them, and then rolling around on the floor and giggling at the movie and eating the popcorn, and then they end up having this really nice heart to heart, which is just so sweet. And so I feel like it brings the comedy, but then also just the sincerity and really seeing what a great friendship looks like.
Yeah.
So it's fun. Plus we get Erica and her sassiness.
Oh my gosh, Erica and her sassiness is just
everything.
Is she, she was so annoying for both of us for so long. And then this episode, she's so endearing to me. Mm-hmm. Which she's I just very love.
Fun.
And also I think thirdly, the other thing that's really important here is both for what this does for Steve's character, but also the overall story of this show and the way it's presenting to the audience that it is. We've got Steve, who is able, with a couple blinks, but no more hesitation, to accept Robin for who she is. Showing us how incredible of a human being Steve is. Definitely, a huge turnabout from what you would assume about his character at the beginning of season 1. And setting him up more as this empathetic, understanding, intellectual an intellectually thoughtful, at least, person that Nancy will kind of come to revitalize her love for in season 4. But also, like, you know, the fact that, like, it wasn't just when gay marriage was passed that suddenly gay people existed. Gay people existed throughout all time. And we get a glance to see that in season 3 here with Robin. And I think, you know, bringing in those characters, which we already know there's maybe a little bit about Will, but really showing the audience, okay, this is happening, this is real, and we are covering this topic, I think is very important for the show overall.
Mm-hmm. So, storyline number 2, The Scientist. Alexei is here. Joyce and Hopper find 2 Russians working on machinery. And after a gunfight with Arnold the Motorcycle Terminator, they go off into the woods. They commandeer a convertible, which is a very fun scene. And they drive to Illinois, where they bring Alexei to Murray. Hopper then proves his experience with interrogation skills, and Alexei reveals that the Russians are trying to open a gate to another dimension. But they had to come to where the gate had been opened before. Hopper calls Dr. Sam and gets the army there. Joyce doubles down, and they realize that they should drive back to Hawkins to save their children. Murray gives an expose on how repressed Joyce and Hopper are about each other. Alexei and Murray laugh about the stagnation in Hopper and Joyce's relationship. Once they get there, Murray and Alexei stay in the car while Hopper and Joyce go to find their kids at the fair. But Mayor Klein sees them and calls the Russians. Boo.
Boo.
Schwarzenegger man shows up and murders Alexei in cold blood.
Sorry.
But not before Hopper and Joyce hold hands on a ride. Hopper fights Russians all over the fair. Grigory is shot, but he is wearing Kevlar. Cue Russians calling for backup in the mall.
Yeah. So this is important for a couple of different reasons. Mainly, though, Alexei disseminates the information to Murray about how to turn off the machine, or how to blow up the machine that is opening the gate. Which is what we're going to need, because the Mind Flayer is gross and is coming for you. And even L's 2 hands might not be able to stop it. Which is unfortunate. So here we are with Alexei giving all that information out. More face-offs with Grigory, which I think is really fun. Just how much he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but is Russian, is just funny. So fun. And then, of course, we get this huge tension with Joyce and Hopper, where we're leaning more and more and more up to them getting together. But also Murray is kind of lecturing them in the same way that he lectures Jonathan and Nancy the previous season. But because these are adults, they're way more stubborn. There's way more risk for them. They're not as easily malleable as just being like, children, I have a pull-out couch.
Although he does children them.
He does children them, but it doesn't work immediately.
No, it does not.
Because it's not like they have Murray drive back with Alexei in the front seat. So, no, it's you know, there's some levity there as well, but there's this romantic tension that everyone's kind of building for. And then, of course, the tension of more Russian stuff and Grigory, this whole setup with Grigory and Hopper that we've been having, trying to finally have a great face-off. And, of course, it's in like a maze of mirrors, and it's just really fun with the fair. But I'll also point out 2 other things here. Mayor Klein gets to make a return, which I just love him, period. But the most important thing, other than Alexei telling us the information, is the wonderful writing skills of humanizing Alexei, giving us like such empathy and immediate build into this character, where we're like, I buy in, I see what's going on with him, and then killing him. It's horrible, wildly impactful, I think, and one of my most memorable parts of the season. Yeah.
Yes. It's so good in that I hate it. I feel like once again they introduced a character that very, very, very quickly I was all in on, and then they kill him.
Yeah.
It's just Bob Part 2. Bob the sequel. And I'm
Bob.
so upset about it. I as soon as this watch through, I definitely was dreading it the whole time. And knew, it's coming, when it's going to be and how upsetting it is.
Yeah.
And it was still just as upsetting.
We literally canceled a podcast recording because you were too sad.
I was so sad. No, I was able to make it through, but
no, we did do it. We did do it.
We did. But I had a warning ahead of time that I was going to be sad about it.
I'd seen the episode before, so I knew. Yeah, it's really effective. I love everything to do with that. And I just love that storyline. As soon as they have Alexei, I'm like instantly entertained.
Yes. He says it's just strawberry. It's not cherry. It's strawberry.
It's all the same. It's not the same. He respectfully tells you that it's not the same. It's a great scene. Oh, I absolutely love it. But then we have the flayed storyline.
Yes.
So, at the hospital, Tom, the Hawkins Post boss, and blonde, wig, terrible Post journalist man try to kill Nancy and Jonathan in their human forms, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are killed in turn by then Nancy and Jonathan. But also they show that if you hurt one flayed, you hurt all of them, which is something that we'll talk about later in terms of information being disseminated.
Mm-hmm.
Because like one guy gets hit and then the other guy in the other room was like, ow! And it was like, oh, has that always been the case? After they're killed, they turn into mini flesh shadow monster, meat monster thing, and Elle eventually attacks it and saves Nancy and Jonathan. But it's a great horror sequence. It's, I think, my favorite horror sequence of this season. Just the empty hospital, creepy monsters, running down, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After that, the flayed have disappeared off the face of the earth. But Mike wants people to be careful with Elle, as we said, because he loves her. And they can't, he's constantly saying you can't just use her like an unlimited source of power. He's kind of worried about her becoming a dead battery, right? If you let a battery flatline for too long, it will not recharge, which may have some consequences in the next episode.
TBD.
TBD indeed. Jonathan and Nancy are now with babies minus Dustin. And they realize they really need to find Billy, because if they find Billy, they might find the flayed. And Elle finds him all right, but with huge consequences. So 11 gets to peer into Billy's past and watches his memories, which instantly humanizes him and gives Elle an understanding of who she is.
Yes.
But also the audience. The audience really needs to know who he is at this point. Billy goes full Mind Flayer takeover and reveals that the army of humans has been built specifically for 11, and now he knows where 11 is, and all the other non-Billy flayed disintegrate just like Tom and Blonde Wig Dude. He's found alright, but with huge consequences. So after 11 peers into Billy's past, and watches his memories, which humanizes him both to Elle and the audience, Billy goes full Mind Flayer on her and reveals that the army of humans is for 11 specifically. Now he knows where 11 is, and all the other non-Billy flayed disintegrate and form a giant flesh monster, way bigger than the one that Tom the Post Boss and Blonde Wig Man formed when they were killed.
Mm-hmm.
This monster attacks and bites 11, depositing a bit of itself into 11's leg. Nancy, the babies and company, minus Dustin, all go to a local grocery store to tend to 11's wound, which is when Max kicks in with that awesome knowledge. And they have a nostalgic argument about new Coke for some reason, while Elle searches for Dustin in her weird little in-between world. But you see, Elle's wound is infected, and they leave for the mall to go save people once they know where Dustin is, and arrive just in time to save Dustin, Erica, Robin, and Steve. But, Sierra, there's something in Elle's leg.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So tell me, why is the storyline important, other than it being the main storyline that everyone needs to know?
Other than it being the main storyline that everybody needs to know, I would say there is a whole lot of information about how the upside down creatures and Mind Flayer in particular work. So how does the Mind Flayer interact with others? Its possession of an individual, its turning into Flayed, its creation of itself and as a larger, huger grossness that is absolutely terrifying with way too many teeth. And there is a lot of also figuring out how all of that interacts with 11.
Yeah.
So that specifically she's being targeted.
Yeah.
That specifically the Mind Flayer knows about her and is interested in her and wants to beat her / potentially sway her.
Sway, absorb, kill. It's unclear.
It's very unclear.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting thing to leave open because it seems when Billy says, "This is all for you," it almost seems like I'm gifting you this army.
Yeah.
In my initial read of it. Now, obviously, I'm gifting you this army, but I'm also going to try to kill you with it. Kind of doesn't track.
Right.
However, I do think that there is kind of that option here of you can turn and control it, or you can be killed by it.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, the most interesting.
And I still think is a little up for question with the way that season 4 goes. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I find this storyline exceedingly impactful in terms of the overall messaging of the story. As we get to the conclusion of the Mind Flayer's storyline in the next episode, it's even more so, specifically around Elle's powers. But there's these huge moments of like Mind Flayer directly communicating with Elle to be like, "This is for you."
Yeah.
And in season 3, you have no idea what that means.
Right.
And it was such a chilling moment. I mean, Stranger Things is moving to this like half a season, then half a season, then a finale over the major holidays because they kept losing out on media time, essentially, like what we're doing right now, people reacting to it. And so you would have Stranger Things and it would be amazing for a week. And for that week for season 3, I remember how big this moment was. It was a lot like when in Game of Thrones, when Jon Snow fights the White Walker sort of command for the first time. And that head White Walker, as Jon is sailing away, shrugs at him and lifts his hands to the air and is directly looking at Jon. And everyone was like, what does this mean? Now, that one moment raged for a week. And sort of, Stranger Things kind of lost out because they had everything all at once. But this moment, I think, is the main thing that I remember, other than Dustin singing from the finale. This is the one moment that I remember people talking about the most, which is, it's made for who? By what's design? Also, is the person that Heather was being taken over by a part of this? And it turns out yes. So it's just huge. It's enormous. Something to watch for, y'all. And that's going to be that on that little section. So keep your finger on the pause button and rewind the tape. We're going to be reviewing our prestige category for what did we notice on this watch through. Episode 5. Tell me about it.
So, kind of a good thing that Nancy and Jonathan already hated the guys from The Office that they had to end up fighting as the Flayed, because otherwise that would have been really crazy on their psyche.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it was just, a friend from school or someone that they enjoyed hanging out with, or
it's Mike and Will,
a family member. Exactly. Yeah. So that would have been pretty brutal. So kind of convenient that they already were not fans, and Nancy got to take out all of her great aggression on them.
So this is a total joke for anybody that's listening, but they have PTSD still, but it's a better PTSD.
Yeah. We did have to kill people we know, but at least it was people we did not enjoy.
We ate.
Yes. The next thing that I brought up is still in the hospital. How exactly is the hospital empty, but the lady at the front desk is still there trying to keep people from going back?
It's really late at night. We know that. It's one of the reasons. Number 2, they do run through a bunch of people who have already been killed by those 2 men.
Yeah, but
Number 3,
it didn't seem like there was a bunch of patients.
There were some people that were like attached to bags and stuff and in hospital gowns that they'd killed. But number 3, the most important one, where they have the main fight is in a construction zone. There's a little sign that says it. And so the hospital's not empty. It's just like that floor is completely under construction, I guess.
They just happen to.
Yeah, it's contrived, certainly.
Yes. But it just struck me as so odd because they go up there and there's basically nobody there.
I know.
And yet this lady at the front desk is like, only 2 people at once.
That's her job. She's doing a great job. Other than being on the phone while people are trying to be like, please save us. Call the cops.
Yeah. Other than not doing her job, she's doing a great job. I think that this is a very small aside, but I think that when they're all gathering together to kind of discuss what the next steps are going to be and finding the source, all the kids, Lucas calls their chat a family meeting. And I think that that's so cute, especially since they're all kids and it's all of the kids except for Dustin, but it's just so adorable. They're like, we are a family.
Yeah, it's really
family meeting.
It's really cute. For Hopper and Joyce's storyline in episode 5, I just find Hopper's instincts are so incredible. And I just admire the way that they've written that character to make me believe it. Joyce's ferociousness is also great. But is their story just a little too campy?
Maybe a little. I kind of have a hard time when a storyline breaks off so much from the rest of everything else. And it almost feels like potentially all of them not being in Hawkins could have been done in a quarter of an episode. Yeah. Where they go and they talk to Murray and they have Alexei and they interrogate him on the way back. Yeah. And it didn't need to be a whole plot line, I suppose. However, there is a lot of information that we get from it, but it is a little... I think the reason it feels campy is just because it is so isolated.
And it's such a repeat of Nancy and Jonathan's. Like, it's such a reflection, a mirroring of it. And I just, like, they have these sort of, like, melodramatic arguments that's clearly, like, you guys are gonna get together. And I just, like, there's just part... Because Hopper and Joyce's storylines have been so grounded and kind of the thing that makes all the adults willing, I think, to watch those episodes, or at least a lot of adult viewers, not all the adults, clearly. Yeah. And it's just such a switch to make them the sort of comic relief, romantic things that, like, maybe it actually isn't too campy, but in juxtaposition from the past 2 seasons, I'm kind of like, whoa. Yeah. Especially while we've been watching at this rate, back to back. It just feels a little whiplashy. Yeah. Episode 6.
This guy looks like Gollum's uglier twin.
Who are we talking about?
The Russian scientist who drugs them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're totally right. Cheers to him. I'm sure you're a wonderful person in real life.
I'm sorry. I'm sure you're great. That was just my initial thought. It's very Schmeagol coded. Yeah. And even just the way he kind of scrunches his body up and gets in their face and everything. It just, oh gosh. Yep. It was just the first thing that came to my mind and I had to write it down.
Well, you did. And now it's on a podcast and now everyone's heard it.
Yay!
It may be unusual for me to do this on the pod, but I have some Mike slander.
I am shocked to my very core.
To my core. There's this whole conversation about, like, oh, don't use 11 too much. Like, you're going to run her battery out, that Mike's saying. And they're like, no, we need her to find Billy and find Dustin. Like, we need to use her. And I will say, at the very beginning of that argument, Max is making excellent points where she's coming to bat for Elle, being like, who knows Eleven's boundaries more than you? Her. Elle does, actually. Elle gets to dictate who she is. And I'm like very much on Max's side in this argument.
Oh, yeah.
And just an FYI, everybody, Mike actually doesn't get to dictate what Elle does, ever.
Yeah. No, it is not his job. I want to discuss probably the biggest section of this episode.
Yeah.
In terms of impact and acting and information, etc.
Yeah.
I would like to discuss how potentially cliche, but also accurate and heartbreaking Billy's backstory is.
All of it.
His father's abusive. His mom leaves as a result, leaving Billy behind to continue being verbally and physically abused. And now he's also abandoned by the one parent who loves him. I mean, none of this excuses his attempted murder of people repeatedly.
Yeah. Or evident racism.
Or any of that. None of this excuses the attempting rundown of 3 kids on bikes and other horrible things that he's done. But holy heck, it's very impactful. It's very well done.
Yeah, I find it very sad. I find I'm almost a bit annoyed, and not because it's not good. I'm just a bit annoyed that we don't see the mother's reasoning ever, because it must be such a difficult decision to be like, for my own safety, I'm leaving the man. That's not hard, but I'm leaving my kid with him.
I do not understand the mom's reasoning.
Right.
Given what we are given. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me. As a mom, if my husband's great, says I'm not in this situation, guys, but if I was in this situation, there's no way I'm leaving my kids behind.
Yeah, totally.
Even if they're not little like they are now, it doesn't matter. I don't understand. The only thing that I can potentially think of is one of those, like, she had to run and she had to be by herself and she intended on coming back for him, but if she had taken him, it would have been considered kidnapping.
Yeah, which it wouldn't. Like,
I mean, this is like, it's not that scenario. Like, that scenario is not accurate. And do we really think that the father would actually try to, like, sue her for custody?
Right.
I don't think that he cares enough.
This whole situation is so outside of the norm that we see in both media and in real life, where you see mothers like leave, certainly, but bring kids. And so I think it's a very compelling backstory, and I think only seeing Billy's version of it, which is that she leaves, makes sense because we're in Billy's head. But I'm like, it itches at me in the back of my head where I'm like, I just want to know why she left Billy too.
Yeah. I feel like there's a piece of the story missing.
Yeah, totally.
And it's very frustrating because we don't get it.
But coming back to Hawkins.
Yes.
When Elle enters Billy's head, is Billy trying to communicate with Elle? I'm not a bad person, this is what my background is? Or is he somehow protecting himself by trying to have happy thoughts? Or like, what is it that causes her to go through and get a perfect montage of why he is who he is?
So I think, here's because I was thinking about this as well. My idea is that I think it's a little bit of twofold. Mm-hmm. On the one hand, I think that the beach memory in particular, the beach memory is kind of the closest thing that I can think of. I guess it's more on that he's protecting himself by having a happy thought. Yeah. But I think that it's more just like the last happiness that he can remember. And that is what he's clinging to as the rest of his personality and who he is becomes erased and replaced by the mind flayer. I think it's a little akin to, in Supernatural, when they fight Jinn, if the Jinn gets you, it basically injects you with its venom and you live a very, very happy life and it's feeding off of you the whole time. So I almost think that there's a little bit of an element of that where it's the Mind Flayer is almost keeping him complacent by allowing him these memories. But also when we then see this is who I am, that's because she's trying to find the source and she's getting closer and closer to the source, and the source of how the Mind Flayer is able to get Billy is because of all these things.
Okay.
And so because of all these things, it's made him who he is, which has made him a candidate to be taken over by the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And so Billy is the source of Billy's pain is the source of the Mind Flayer.
Okay.
That's what the Mind Flayer is feeding on.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well stated.
Continuing to discuss Dacre Montgomery, I would like to have a moment to talk about his acting in general this season. I know we talked about it last episode as well, so we can move on specifically to when he's speaking to Elle as the Mind Flayer and the, quote, single man tear rolls down his face. It is expert level conflict and emotion being portrayed, and the sheer acting in the tiny details of his face is phenomenal. You see, he is fully Mind Flayer, and just that one tear is just the little bit of Billy that is still clinging and does not like what is happening.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh my god.
It's a brilliant moment. It's a brilliant moment to share that the person is still inside, which is enormously important for next episode. Our next episode, the finale. Now we'll discuss the actual next episode, which is 7, which is not what I'm talking about. Episode 7, y'all.
Okay, another moment where I seriously I continue to question if the Wheeler little sister is somehow connected to the Upside Down, because she's the only one who sees something in the wall in Will's room, except for Joyce. And now she's the only one who notices the monster in the trees during the fireworks. Everybody else, I know she's looking down instead of looking up, but there's other people and this monster is huge and the trees are moving. And she is still somehow the only one who can see it.
Yeah. I don't think that she has any connection to the Upside Down, but it is odd. And maybe at the end of this, we'll have this sort of like almost Last Jedi moment where at the end of season 5, like everybody with powers is dead, and then she'll use the Force a little bit, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, there's still people out there. Right. Or it'll be a little bit like Magneto, where he moves the chess piece right at the end of X2, or X3, I should say. So we'll see.
Yeah. But it is, speaking of the shadow monster, though, or the goo...
The meat monster.
Body monster, the grossness. It is crazy. The grossness. I shall label him the grossness. It is kind of crazy that Nancy hears the monster coming before Will's spidey sense goes off.
I just think that's Will sort of being distracted by the fact that he's crushing on Mike, and Mike is professing his love to Elle.
But still, it seems he always notices right away when the sense does go off. He always touches his neck, and we get the zoom in and everything. But it is weird that she hears it first.
I do wonder if it is. And this, I could be totally off base with this. This is definitely a shot in the dark. I do wonder if there's more to Will than we see.
Yeah.
And maybe his loyalties aren't as with these people and against Vecna/Shadow Monster as we think, or there's still a bit of the Shadow Monster in him that can manipulate him into not realizing things, or if he's got extra powers that he's working through. And so I wonder if this will be what I will call sort of a Dumbledore flash of eyes moment. Where you remember in Goblet of Fire, we find out that, this is a spoiler for anybody who hasn't read Harry Potter, we find out that Voldemort uses Harry's blood, and that ends up being a hugely important detail for book 7. I just wonder if that moment of Nancy hearing it before Will is actually an important moment, or if it's just like, because Will does go, oh my gosh, oh yeah, it is here right afterwards. So we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I have thoughts about sort of the brevity of this episode, which is both like Robin and Steve are just so funny, and I find sort of being drugged out moments usually not very funny at all, and cliche, and the acting, you know, is uninteresting, but I find it absolutely so funny. Additionally, I find Alexi's story so compelling. What is it that you think is so interesting about both Robin and Steve and Alexi's part?
I think there's just a little bit, especially in, you know, speaking specifically to this episode, I think it's a lot of the just truth and openness that's happening on both, in both cases. You know, Robin and Steve are kind of being forced to tell the truth and to just kind of say what's on their minds and whatever. And then Alexi is feeling more open and being able to actually just have a friend and pal around a little bit and have inside jokes and everything. And I think that there's a little bit of that going on with Robin and Steve, and then also Alexi and Murray, where the characters are just so endearing. And there's almost, when characters are more open and honest and truthful, they become a little bit more innocent and endearing in that way, and really brings them back to kind of their basic humanity and basics of who they are. Yeah, totally. And so I think that that's really what draws me to all of them in this episode, is they're just being who they are, just pure, plain and simple.
Excellent points. Well done.
And then, you know, knowing what's going to happen to Alexi, I was already crying when he goes off to play the games. I was already crying.
I know. It is sad. They do a really effective job with it.
They do. But to distract myself from that, why does Elle bother distracting the Russians before just throwing the car at them? Because it would be just as effective to just throw the car at them. She doesn't have to make the alarms go off and make them look in the other direction. It's not like they moved at all. They didn't get into the path of the car. She could have just sent the car flying into them instead of the alarms going off and then send the car flying into them.
It does feel like she needs, like, Mike, who's already sort of trying to control what she's doing anyway, should just be like her first base coach and be like, okay, no, you don't need to do that. Think about efficiency and economy of motion. All we want to do is just smash them with the car. Don't bother with the theatrics.
Yeah. I get that, you know, it's kind of like a reveal. Oh, what's going on with the car? Oh, she's done this before. Oh, it must be Elle. And then the car. But I feel like it's just as impactful as a reveal to just
smash them.
A car comes flying.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to remind us that the car's there and that she's not just bringing a car from outside.
Hi guys, I brought this with me. I brought my car from home. May I use it to kill you?
BYOC.
BYOC. It's like showing up with you. Hi, this is my lizard. I brought him from home. This is my car. BYOC. Bang. Yeah, I mean, it's probably for several, like, show reasons, not writing reasons.
Yeah. No. It still bothers me, though.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't always have to face down a horde of angry Russian soldiers by yourself, Elle. Buckle up, Schmisseners, because it's time for our Sansa is Smarter Than John category. What is the most important character moment in this set of episodes?
There's one answer.
There's one answer. Robin admitting her interest in Tammy Thompson and Steve immediately accepting her.
Yep, it's huge.
Immediately.
The floor is yours, Sierra.
Yes. It is the most important character moment both for Robin and for Steve, but I do believe mostly for Steve.
Yeah.
On Robin's side, it is huge for her to trust somebody with this secret. It is absolutely huge. She has seen what has happened to other people in her situation. It is not great. She is afraid of being judged. She's already not super popular, and she is going out on a limb to admit this to somebody who has really only been her friend for a month, maybe something like that. But it is the most important thing for Steve because, kind of as you were saying before, it really, really hits home how good of a person Steve is and how wonderful he is with everyone around him and accepting. And hey, you're a little weird. You're a little weird. You've got a difference here. You've got a difference there. I may have been most popular in high school for a long time until that darn Billy showed up, but I will accept all of you. I've already adopted a horde of small children. I will now accept you as my best friend. It's all fine.
Oh, that's so funny. I know you just lost a hand, Sierra, but listen up. It's the I am your father category for most iconic character moment. What you got?
Elle flipping yet another car. Guys, don't let her around vehicles that you care about.
unless she likes you, then your car might work. But if she doesn't like you, keep your wife, your children, and your cars away from her. I entirely disagree. I think that this is extremely way less iconic than her car flipping of season 1. I have an honorable mention and then the actual thing that I think it is. The honorable mention is Alexei being shot just because of how well the sequencing is done. We've talked a lot about him already, but so it should be no surprise that the honorable mention goes to Alexei being shot. In reality, I think it's the House of Mirrors fight. Which I think is, it's been done 10,000 times, but I think it's so well done here. And it's one of the one times that, like, Hop isn't being forced into his, Harrison Ford reference time. And the Grigori's, like, total not understanding of how it works versus Hop's mastery over it, I think is really neat and cool. There's so little dialogue in the moment. I think you can really feel the stakes as it plays out. Then you see this great moment of triumph with Hop killing him. Grigori, you think, and then he's wearing Kevlar, so he survives, and he runs after Hop, and Hop sees him, and then in this hilarious moment, he goes down a slide, and like any adult who's ever been down a slide ever, you realize how much they hurt an adult body, and he just swears the entire way down. It's the best. It's the one that we should definitely nominate and vote for, and it wins.
Yes, that's fine.
Excellent,
I accept
thank
that.
you.
Elle already won for flipping a car. She doesn't need a second one.
Yeah,
the
totally.
Same trick. What are you, a one-trick pony?
Yep.
Come on.
Correct.
Everybody, sit down. It's time for our I Am Iron Man. Most iconic and most important scene category.
One answer again.
One answer, and it's this quote. All this time, we've been building it for you. Billy says, with the Mind Flayer's voice, while one tear rolls down his face.
Yeah, it's all the things. It's the most important thing to the episode. It's the most iconic and most important scene. It's huge. It's hugely important in every single possible way.
Yeah.
Which leads us to our Elijah Wood, No How Could We Have Known category, where we crack open an encyclopedia and discuss the most important information disseminated to the fandom over these last 3 episodes. The Shadow Monster is more than a match for Elle.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, y'all. That's
it.
what we've
Elle
got.
has met her match, and it is the Shadow Monster.
And even maybe more than her match.
Yeah.
As we go into the finale.
Yeah. I think in kind of... this almost makes me think... This is a weird poll, but it almost makes me think of The Incredibles. How Syndrome has been building these robots specifically to kill supers. And this is this is L's syndrome robot.
Yeah.
Is
totally
the shadow monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not shadowy meat grossness. The grossness himself.
The grossness himself is definitely a match for her.
Yes. Time to keep your horses safe. It's the I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, that was close.
Category.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
I liked that one.
I know. I was like, oh, I forgot about the lip. That's what I've been missing. It's the lip. Best lines.
Yes.
Right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
These are my family. Extended.
What's the context on that one?
When they're going into the hospital and they say only family members are allowed. And Nancy says, these are my family. And then the woman basically just looks at Lucas and how he's black. And then she goes, extended.
Yeah. That's right.
So good. It really perfectly ties into with family
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Cute. He says you remind him of a fat Rambo.
That's Murray, right? Talking about Hopper,
yes.
What Alexi said.
Yes. Would now be a good time to tell you that I don't like doctors? I can't remember if it's Steve or Robin, but it's when they're dosed with the serum. I think it's Steve.
I think it's Steve too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And in a less lighthearted note, you shouldn't have looked for me because now I see you. Now we can all see you.
What's up, Billy?
Ooh.
That's
Chilling.
Billy to L. Chilling. Good line.
Yes. Okay, that's it. I'm never having kids.
Dustin, right?
Completely done with Robin and Steve. And having to babysit them.
Sierra, those are all incredible lines that you've selected.
Yes.
They do a phenomenal job of going over many of the wonderful things that Stranger Things can do. Be funny, be about family, be a terrible monster speaking through humans. But there is only one line that can win this episode. You see, when Dustin and Erica are free because of Dear Steve, and Robin, they are able to look for distractions and methods to procure the rescue of their two friends. And Dustin looks at Erica holding this wonderful piece of metal, and he says, "What's that?" And Erica lights it, and it's a shock stick, and she goes, "A deadly weapon." And that's the best line of all of these. It's
the delivery on it is hilarious.
The delivery is so key.
A deadly weapon.
a deadly weapon. She's so like little
Please.
stinker. Like
It's so good.
It's so funny. Dust off that card deck and get ready to shuffle. It's our Joker category for who is the MVP of these episodes.
Hear me out. Hear me out. It's Murray. Mostly because of the car scene in episode 7 when he yells at Hop and Joyce and tells them they need to stop bickering or just do it already.
He's certainly speaking for the audience right there, I think. Like that is...
He really is.
You've reached directly into the heart of the audience and been like, we're done with your bickering. Please just hook up.
Yes. Please, please, please. And because it's Murray, he does it in a most excellent way, which both shames, embarrasses, and encourages all at once.
the trifecta of being a pet parent. Okay, so I'm not in disagreement, but I will give you an honorable mention and then a secondary case.
Okay.
First of all, honorable mention to Jonathan and Nancy just for surviving. I feel like that was one of the more tough things to survive. Rough. It was a really rough time. An honorable mention for Lucas for being like, hey, look, fireworks. Although I think he doesn't enter into the actual category for MVP simply because he's ooh, shiny doesn't win you the MVP. A bigger honorable
Wait, it doesn't? Do you know how many times I should have won the MVP?
Ooh, shiny.
Ooh, shiny.
Ooh, piece of candy. Another honorable mention to Max for the first aid stuff. Just knowing a lot about that, getting Elle what she needs. Not an MVP for Lucas also not finding the bowl with Will and seeing the fireworks. So that's what made him almost the LVP. Least valuable player, in case you guys don't know what that means. But pound for pound, and this is an actual pound for pound argument, I do think he will win. Pound for pound, it's Alexei.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because...
Go for it. You list.
Yeah, he gives all of the information about how to shut down the gate opener machine.
Yeah.
He gives all the information. He gives handwritten schematics for the location, which are pretty good. He gives the codes. He gives step-by-step instructions on how to get down there, what to do when they're down there, where they need to go, what they need to get, what they need to do.
Yeah.
Nothing would happen or occur or continue
without him. He is the reason why the finale can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why pound for pound. And also just
why season 4 happens too.
Yeah, literally the reason why season 4 happens. Quite in a couple of scenes in episodes 5, 6, and 7, we meet him. We love him. He turns sides to the Americans and joins the right side in this particular case. He shows a love of fun and enjoyment that we don't really get to see a lot from the adults. We buy in and have empathy and care for him. He gives all the information that one could possibly need, and then he dies. And with that death, we shall honor him for MVP.
Yes, we shall.
Excellent.
Done.
Well done.
It's time to clean up your evil lair and get ready for our I was the turkey all along category for what is the biggest takeaway viewers should leave with in preparation for season 5. Tell us, Sam.
Yeah, it's everything that we've already mentioned with Billy, the grossness, and Elle. Essentially, to whittle it down for what we need to know for season 5, Elle is not too powerful that she can just take out everything that she faces. The meat monster, the shadow monster, the grossness, whatever you want to call it, is a match for her. But also, Billy, with the shadow monster's voice, conveys the fact that this army has been built for her. What that means in terms of, like, is the shadow monster actually thinks that she's stronger and wants to give her the army over Vecna? Is she trying to double-cross Vecna? Or is it really, I'm building it for you to try and kill you, which is kind of what he does moving forward with it. Mm-hmm. All of that information is extremely important to hold on to because of Vecna's storyline and trying to see, like, Vecna is also trying to kill or bring Elle to him or what. So those are the really big things that we've got to think about in terms of getting ready for season 5.
Today's public service announcement. Always make sure to debate New Coke versus Coca-Cola while digging squiggly things out of your friend's leg. It really helps the process and isn't blatant product placement at all.
Never once been product placement. TV shows have never run on product placement. Never happens.
Ever. Nope.
Oh, I would like some Eggos right now and New Coke.
And Slurpees from 7-Eleven.
Slurpees from 7-Eleven.
Well, thank you, listeners, for listening to this episode of Fandom Schmandom. If you would like to discuss this episode or any other episode we've done, please hit us up on our social media channels. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Fandom Schmandom Pod and on X at Fandom_Schmandom.
Please don't forget to rate and review us if you liked the episode. It really helps with the algorithm placing us in front of other like-minded schmishners out there. And with that, we're out, y'all.
Don't forget to tip those darn Rooskies.
And fare thee well.
Fandom Schmandom was created by Sam Williams and Sierra Obermark. The show is produced by Aurelia Lieb. The editor is Brittany Fisher. The music is by Jeremiah Alves.
Nancy narrowly escapes the goo monster. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I said.
Goo form of
Nancy. Sam, it's time to find your donut holes.
Excellent.
It's time for our Knives Out category.
Wait, pause,
where we
pause
sleuth...
Pause again. You said, Sam, it's time to find your donut holes. It's time for our Knives Out category.
You're right. Did I say it's time to find... I did.
You did, yeah.
It's because I'm looking at it's time. Well, okay. Got this.
We got this. You know, the fact that we do 10:30 almost every time is not at all an indication of why we struggle so much.
No, not at all.
But it's literally the only time that we can do this. So here we go.
Woohoo!
I wish that for season 2 finale, Sierra, we had made the MVP Elle's second hand. Pound for pound, is it not Elle's second hand?
That's so funny.
It does nothing for 2 seasons and then suddenly comes out of nowhere.
And none of anything else. Oh my gosh.
None shall pass.
None words shall pass through this mouth. being vetted by brain, they shall just continue. Okay. It is time to clean up your evil lair. Your evil lair. It is time. We're so close. Okay.
Eviler.
My thing froze. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Eviler.
You're eviler. All right.
Please don't forget to rate and review.